All right, welcome to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and today is Monday, August 23rd, 2021. Hey, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling. Don't forget, you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. You can learn about real estate investing, you can learn about stock options investing, you can learn about the stock market. You can meet me. Hey, it is what it is. So today we're going to be discussing, it's a great day in the market. We're going to be talking about how the FDA approved COVID vaccines. We're going to talk about crypto and the Robinhood jump. We're going to talk about the travel stocks are the play, the infrastructure bill, and is Alibaba a play after all the turmoil? All right, let's get into it. The Dow Jones, one more time. The Dow Jones jumped again about 275 points today, and the S&P hit another record at 4490. This is pretty good. You know, we're having a pretty good run here. I've been saying that the Dow is absolutely going to hit 36,000, and I'm absolutely confident that's going to happen. It's probably going to happen soon. We also had the NASDAQ heading for 15,000. I think that's a pretty obvious place for it to go as well. So these are all great stuff. You know, the economy is still rocking. I know you guys are scared. You got the Biden effect. You got the Afghanistan effect. You got the people unemployed effect. You got the mask. You got the COVID. You got all this stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, there is no sign of this economy slowing down, at least not yet. It's going to happen. It's just not going to happen yet. So take advantage of it. In fact, this is a good time for you to have some short-term plays and get yourself ready to go for them. That's why it's nice to have the market rocking like this. Let's talk about the FDA approving the COVID vaccine. So the FDA granted Pfizer and BioNTech full U.S. approval of their COVID-19 vaccine. Now, this move may encourage some unvaccinated Americans to go get the shots, as well as give more private businesses across the nation greater confidence to implement vaccine mandates. You know, look, I got a real problem with vaccine mandates. I have no problem with the vaccine. I have no problem with people doing their thing. But look, if you're gonna tell people that they have to have their vaccine, I don't know. I just think it's a serious problem. This is a civil rights issue. This is, if I want to have a vaccine, great. If I don't want to have a vaccine, great. But you have to decide for yourself. You can't sit here and make choices for people. You've got healthcare workers who worked through the entire time of COVID. They risked their lives, or at least they apparently risked their lives, whether they did or they didn't. They risked their lives, and what do? Now they're going to be fired if they don't get the vaccine. And not only is that not fair, it's just not right. Let's stay away from that. Let's stay away from that concept. But yeah, it's going to happen. We're going to have some serious vaccine mandates. Now, if you didn't know about this before, the Moderna vaccine was on the U.S. market under an emergency use authorization. Now, basically, it's pretty obvious what that is. An emergency use authorization means that they can administer the vaccine without FDA approval, and then they're just waiting for FDA approval. Now, I was skeptical. I was kind of curious. I wanted to know why the FDA had taken so long to approve these vaccines, especially with the political nonsense that's going on right now with the FDA. So I actually did some research. I did it a couple of days ago, and I did some research on this, and I wanted to see how the FDA actually approves, and there's certain ways that they can approve it. And one of them is, you know, they have to get pages and pages and pages of data from the pharmacies. And until they have all those pages of data, then they can't actually approve the vaccine. So it is possible that the writers of the data didn't finish the data in time, and that's what took so long. Because once again, if I'm president, or and I have a political stance that says get vaccine, get vaccine, get vaccine, I'm going to want the FDA to approve this as soon as possible, and yet they didn't. It took a little bit of time. So FDA scientists evaluated hundreds of thousands of pages of vaccine data from 40,000 trial participants, according to the U.S. agency. The vaccine was found to be 91% effective in preventing COVID, slightly lower than a 95% efficiency rate trial data showed when the shot was authorized late last year and before the Delta variant took hold in the U.S. And again, here you go, right? So, you know, how do you, when you see it's 91%, does that mean they didn't get the virus, or that means they didn't die from the virus? Because then I hear people who have the virus can die from it, you know, can still get, if they have the vaccine, they can still get the virus. I don't know. But whatever, again, once again, I just believe it's choice, and the mandate is going to be a serious issue. You know, I had a friend of mine who went into a restaurant this weekend, and it was in New York. He went to a restaurant, and the restaurateur said, "Hey, can I see your vaccine card?" He said no, and he walked out. So I don't think it's good for the restaurants either to be asking for this vaccine card. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody asks me for my vaccine card, it's going to be real simple. Yes, show me yours first. And if you don't show me yours, I'm not going to show you mine. And until then, I'm not showing them. All right. And that's the kind of stuff we have to deal with. So let's talk a little bit about how the pharma stocks jumped because of this news. First of all, Moderna, MNRA, jumped 6.5% today. Now, if you remember, I was talking about Moderna being a stock that you should wait for it to fall below 300. Well, now, of course, it popped, and it popped about 25 points, 27 points. I can't remember what it was. We'll see it in a minute on the screen. We'll see that it dropped. It was like 25, 27 points, which is a great jump. It is a great jump, but I still want to see the reality of Moderna going up, and maybe even going down to 325 or even 300, and I think it would be a great play. So let's take a look. If we can't take a look, that's cool. We'll just move to the next one. Pfizer, PFE, Pfizer jumped about 3%, and then the interesting thing was J&J. J&J didn't jump at all. So J&J actually dropped. Now I'm going to tell you why I think J&J dropped today. J&J was ex-dividend today, which means that it paid their dividend today. And if J&J pays their dividend, typically what happens when a stock pays their dividend, the stock will typically drop momentarily. For probably a day or two, it'll drop. So that's basically what happens on that. Okay. Let's talk about, you know what, actually let's do this real quick before we talk about crypto and Robinhood. Why don't we take a quick break, and we'll see you in a couple of seconds.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and so far we've been talking about how great the day was in the market. We've been talking about the fact that the FDA approved the COVID vaccine, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that Bitcoin and some crypto jumped today. So Bitcoin actually topped 50,000 for the first time in 3 months, and Ethereum is over 3,300. Now, if you remember, Ethereum peaked at over 4,000 in May. And that's a great sign. That also means that, look, I got to be honest with you, I was not a big fan of crypto for a while, and I'm actually getting to the point where I think this actually has legs. Now, I bought a bunch of Dogecoin, which, by the way, is hovering around 32 cents. I bought a bunch of Dogecoin. I think it might actually be a play. Ethereum, Bitcoin. I'm going to find out more about exactly how this thing works, but I'm pretty impressed by it right now, and actually the fact that you can make some money. But because of this, let's talk about Robinhood stock. And I've been saying that Robinhood stock is a play for quite a while. Now, Robinhood, if you know, Robinhood stock basically is the retail or the meme or the millennial version of the stock trading market, right? So today, if you take a look, you can actually see that Robinhood jumped. I can't even see the numbers. I'm sorry, but it jumped pretty far today. So it had a pretty good run today. Let me just take a look over here. All right, so Robinhood jumped 447. It looks like. Is that right? And because of that, it all happened because Bitcoin jumped. Because if you remember, Ethereum was a big play for them. So last week we had talked about how big of a play that was for them. And actually, it looks like Robinhood jumped about 265 by the end of the day, closed at 265 up, which is pretty nice. And again, you need to understand that Robinhood stock is going to be a play. I think Robinhood stock is going to pop. I think it's going to pop to a point where it's going to hit something like 100 or 150. But it's only a play. It's only a good play if, I don't know, if it continues to do what it's doing. And because of the Ethereum play, I think it'll actually make some sense. Now, as a matter of fact, Coinbase had jumped up today, and it actually fell right back. All right, let's go on and talk a little bit about what's next here. So the travel stocks, by the way, I've been saying travel stocks are a play for a while. Now remember, we just had something interesting happen, which was, of course, the fact that we have the FDA approving the vaccine, which means that once again travel is going to come back. We know travel is going to come back. In fact, I've been seeing ads and articles for AAL and for DAL. All these plays, they're filling up the airplane. Now, yes, you have to wear a mask, and I just won't get a plane if I have to wear a mask. But they're filling up the airplane, and because they're filling up the airplane, that means that travel stocks are going to be playing soon. Now, we have to run until January now for the mask mandate to go away, and there are other articles too where you're seeing that the stewardess or the servers on the plane, whatever they're called, they're on the plane and they're getting a lot of abuse from the flyers because of the masks. They're yelling at them. They're getting frustrated. Look, wearing a mask for 5 hours in an airplane is ridiculous. And that's part of the problem. So I also believe that if they drop this mask mandate, they'll stop doing that. But it is what it is. But the travel stocks are a play. So you got AAL, which is a great play. AAL popped today. And it did pretty well. Let's take a quick look and see what AAL did. I believe it actually finished over 19. It actually finished it. Yeah, it finished at 1911. Now I'm looking for 23, 24, and that would be a great play for me because I've got a bunch of stock options in that number. Also, DAL, Delta Airlines, also did very well today. Delta Airlines popped. It popped somewhere near, let's see what it was. And then also went up to 39.21, about 2.86%. That's pretty good. And then, of course, we have CCL, which also did very well today, and RCL, which also did well. And, of course, I would also talk about Norwegian Cruise Lines as well. All right, let's talk about the infrastructure bill. So the infrastructure bill is interesting. We all know that the infrastructure bill is supposed to be the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And yeah, whatever, if it's bipartisan, not bipartisan, I don't really care. But believe it or not, there are some House Democrats that aren't sure if they want to pass it. Now, this is getting interesting because, Nancy Pelosi is saying, hey, you better vote for this. And they're saying, hey, we're a little concerned about some of the money that it's going to cost the American public for this bill. It's interesting to actually see somebody actually, for the first time, questioning that. Now, here's the other issue that you're going to have. You have to understand that Biden's problem right now is Afghanistan. He botched it. He really did. I mean, whether he botched it or didn't botch it, it looks like he botched it. But he botched it. It's bad. So now you have to figure out, hey, listen, if he doesn't get this thing passed, then his effectiveness is close to zero. That's why we need to make. That's why we don't need to. That's why the Democrats need to make sure that this thing passes. And it's going to get a little bit tough to get it to pass. All right, so you have Nancy Pelosi is facing pressure from opposing flanks of her party as she tries to move forward with a budget resolution next week. So the budget resolution is also coming next week, where they have to decide on the budget and will the budget be be passed. And if the budget is passed, it'll be easier for her to pass this $3.5 trillion massive spending, nutty, crazy thing. But it is what it is. All right, let's talk about Alibaba, because Alibaba is a play that I got into it and I am freaking out over it because it's one of the worst plays I have right now. But there's so much strength in the fact that it should not be here. Now that doesn't mean that it's a good play. It just means that it shouldn't be here. many global stock investors have tried to weather Beijing's regulatory crackdown, but investing environment is tough and risky. One major investment says he's holding on but has lost some conviction. That sounds like me. I have the same situation. I'm stuck here going, wow, I'm in Alibaba. What am I going to do? So many of the Chinese stocks and ETFs that trade in the U.S. plummeted in July when China's effort to rein in internet and other companies went into high gear. So basically, China said, "Hey, listen, like I've said it several times, you can't make that much money. You can't have monopolies. You can't do this stuff that you want to do. We're a communist country. We're not a capitalist country, or we're a socialist country, and we're not going to let you do that." So a lot of stocks, hit bottom, or actually hit bottom right now at the 52-week lows right now, and they hit some high levels in July. So I'm stuck in this BABA play. I think Alibaba is a play. I think it's a better stock play than it is a stock option play because I'm not sure the timing. But at the same time, I'm down something like, in one of my plays, I'm down something like 75% of my Alibaba play. I might as well play it out, especially because my options are into November. And let's just wait it out and see. All right, real quick, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to go see how you could win Phil's car.
Hey, if you were listening to Investor Schooling Live today, I'm Phil Falcone, and I made the decision today on air that I'm going to be giving away this car. You want to take a look at it? Let's do it. How would you like to pop your top without ever getting out of the car? Huh? It's pretty cool. You can do it at a red light. You can do it when you see it rainy. You can actually even do it when you're driving, as long as you don't go maybe faster than 10 miles an hour. So I am giving away this car. Why? Is it because I'm crazy? Is it because I'm rich? Is it because of both? Take your pick. I don't care. Let me tell you about the car. We're going to have a contest. We're looking for real estate investors to go to our website and give us a real estate tip. And you can have people that you know vote on the site about which real estate tip is the most quality, most valuable to them. So let's just say that our contest is going to be looking for quality real estate tips and for votes. So you need to get your friends, your family, people who care about you, and real estate investors who are willing to go on the site and vote for it. And I will give you this car.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse. And as you know, we are brought to you by Investor Schooling. Go to investorschooling.com and you can take a complimentary class this Thursday. You can learn about real estate investing. You can learn about stock option investing. You can learn about stocks. And you could even come and meet me. I'll even wear a fancy jacket for you. How's that? So as you know, one of my favorite stocks right now happens to be Apple. I think Apple is a play. Now it's at 149 again. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get in here at a good place right now. But if you take a look at this chart is actually a screaming chart that says, hey, this thing's going to go up. It's actually going to break out and it's going to keep going. How do I know that? I don't know that. I mean, I base it on what I see. So you could see that this thing hit this top right around 150 3 times, broke through for a little bit, and then it's going to break through again is most likely what's going to happen. So if you actually can see, I don't know if we could draw a line over here, but if we could draw a line at 144, we can actually see the line at 144 right there. There you go. So if it breaks below 144, it's going to drop. If it stays above the 150, which is it's right at right now, or right around 150, if it stays above that, it's going to take off. And my guess is going to hit 160, 165 pretty soon based on what I see in this chart. And again, when you're doing chart reading, part of it is speculation and part of it is just experience. Robinhood is also another one of my plays. I like Robinhood a lot. We talked about that before. I'd like to see Robinhood. Look, at this point, Robinhood, I think if it goes below 40, I'd add to it. And if it doesn't, I'm looking forward to it popping and making some nice coin. All right. So we take a look at that. We can see that the biggest thing that happened to Robinhood was nothing major. It just kind of dropped a little bit after after the initial pop of like I think it hit 85 at one point, which is amazing. And then Coinbase is another one of my plays. I like Coinbase because Coinbase is going to rock because crypto is here to stay, folks. I'm telling you now, crypto is here to stay, and we're going to actually, at Investor Schooling, we're actually going to start teaching it shortly. And the next thing, of course, we talked about Alibaba. We don't need to see the chart because we already know about it. AAL, CCL, RCL, but I do want to take a quick look at Twitter because I think Twitter is a good play. If we take a quick look, we can actually see what Twitter has done. Let me see what I've got over here. Now, Twitter, I actually said last week Twitter was a play, and sure enough, Twitter is going to turn out to be a play. Twitter will be over 70 shortly, and when it is, it'll be, again, a good play. All right, so let me just finish out the day here. So I want to thank you once again for watching Money Chat Now. By the way, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in the show. The opinions discussed in this show are solely mine, and no one has asked me to discuss them. Thank you for watching Money Chat Now. We look forward to your continued support. Look, like, share, comment. Let people know you're watching the show. I want to watch the show. You want to watch the show. I thank you for watching.